Well, hello there, chum. Oh, I'm so glad you could join us on this review. Golly, it's gonna be a swell of a time, so just wait till after this intro.
Let's all go watch the review. Yeah.
Hey everybody, how's it going? I am Laser Dude, and welcome to my review of WandaVision. Not WonkaVision, WandaVision. So the story of WandaVision involves Wanda from the Avengers movies and Vision from the Avengers movies. Yeah, the guy that died. The guy that got that happen to him. And they are, for some reason, in an old sitcom series, and you are left to unravel the mystery of, what's going on? How's that happening? So this is a review for those who have been keeping up with the WandaVision TV show, though this is going to be spoiler related. If you want a quick recommendation, if you like shows that are a slow burn but are building up to something, even if you see maybe the reveal coming or whatnot, it's actually still really interesting to see these characters go through it and get some much needed development for both of these characters, both Vision and Wanda. But now, I just want to tell you my opinion on the show fully, so spoilers ahead, starting now. So yeah, I think the thing that this comic books have a disadvantage of over any other type of show is that we know more about these characters than anybody else because we can just look up their comic book history, because I think we all kind of figured that this reality TV show was going to be some sort of manifestation from Wanda and her processing her grief. I think even before the show started, we thought, like, well maybe she watched those types of TV shows as a kid and she's just trying to get her way through it. Maybe she doesn't know what's happening. But, yeah, I mean, that was kind of the way we were all thinking of it from the very early get-go. And if you didn't have all of the Scarlet Witch's history to dwell upon, maybe you wouldn't have thought that. However, as I said, just because some of the stuff you can see coming doesn't mean it's not well handled. I actually really like the dynamic here that they have between Elizabeth Olsen's character and Paul Bettany's character. Both of them show they've had good chemistry before, and I really am fascinated by Wanda in this. Like, Scarlet Witch in comics, I've never really been that interested in. It's one of those things where her character's powers were too vague, and her character was not as interesting enough for me to really take all that much of an interest. But I loved diving into her psyche with this. I loved watching certain things. I love that there was callbacks to other shows. Like, okay, the Jimmy Woo Darcy team-up thing. Look, I wasn't even a big fan of Darcy. You can watch my old Thor reviews and be like, I mean, I actually thought that Kat Dennings was funny, but I didn't really think that she was that great of a character. But in this, I like what they did with her. She is still snarky and whatnot, but she's not as, like, worthless, you know. Now her character has a doctorate. She is a doctor, and so when she's brought in on this, she has a unique perspective, unlike anybody else. Jimmy Woo, who we've seen in the Ant-Man movies, who honestly, I didn't really like in the Ant-Man movies. I know, like, everyone's like, Jimmy Woo, and when they saw him, then I'm like, oh, this guy. But he really won me over with this. I love the way his character was handled. You know, he was just funny, and he was also kind of a badass. Monica Rambeau being introduced into here, the kid from the Captain Marvel movie, and now grown up, and now before I get into all the characters, I just want to go in pros and cons. Let's do a pro and con off. The whole world of Westview, I think they handle extremely well. I'm really interested in the fact that when things go into it, they change, and then when they come back, they can stay changed, and how the implications of that are. It was really terrifying when, like, Vision released that one guy from Wanda's control. He started freaking out and crying, and it's just like, oh boy, Wanda, what are you doing? I like that we get to focus on some of these background characters, and you know, it adds a little bit of an interesting dynamic to the whole thing. You know, I like that. I liked uncovering the mystery of it all as well. Like the first episode, you're like, okay, well, that last part with the boss choking was a little weird, but Okay, and then the second episode, you're like, okay. And then by the time the third and fourth episode hits, that's when I was like fully about, like, oh yeah, okay, that's interesting. This does into that, this plays into that. And then there's a couple of twists that the show has along the way. Now, I think we all know what the biggest moment, the biggest holy crap moment of the show was. And it was, I think, fifth episode? Anyway, it was the episode where they revealed the new Quicksilver, and it was Evan Peters' Quicksilver. I think we all were like, what? No! Wait, that means, no! X-Men? Did you just grab him from other universes? The other movie is called Multiverse of Madness. Maybe that has something to do with that. Oh my gosh, the implications of this are wild! Con, that's probably the biggest letdown of the show, is that it's just a random dude. Random guy. Happens to look like a Quicksilver in the other universe. But then that doesn't explain the super speed. Like, I just thought maybe the other witch was just like, okay, I need someone with super speed to pull this off. Let's grab a Quicksilver from another universe. Maybe that would just be too much power for her to have, and if she could do that, then what else couldn't she do? Still, I don't know. It just feels like that would have been something that would have been cool. Because otherwise, now this guy's running around with super speed. Because either A, like their choices are either A, she can grant super speed to anybody she wishes just by waving her hand, or B, the simple fact that she could grab people from other universes. Which one is more unbelievable? I don't know. Probably the other universes, but no, it's not by much. I guess it's just because they revealed it, and it was such a big reveal that we were hoping that it was to something bigger, and it really wasn't. The way they ended that storyline was really weak. I love that the show changed up every single week. You know, it starts out black and white, and it changes up, and like the effects of the show were also like the same at the time. You know, it's like whenever Vision phases through something that has a sparkle effect in the 50s, and then the show gets more and more advanced. It starts to become more and more advanced in the effects that they use. I love the episode where we go back into Wanda's past, because they really take advantage of all of the things that she went through and has said to us throughout the whole show. Like the fact that the missile didn't blow up, and that. I love that idea, and that they take it and then they add another twist to it. That she stopped it from blowing up herself, even if she didn't realize it, because she was infused with magic. You know, that is cool. That is a very, very cool thing. And then the fact that she was able to use magic on the Mind Stone, why the Mind Stone chose her and Pietro, is because it connected with her. That's also really interesting. Every part of that flashback part is interesting. Like the scene with Vision talking to her and saying how it can't be all grief that you're feeling for Pietro. Some of it has to be love, because there is no grief without love. I love that scene. There's so many good moments in that episode. Definitely my favorite episode out of all of them. The show is one of those shows that I think actually will probably work better in the long run on the binge. You know, because then people don't have time to look up or theorize all this stuff. And, it's only 7 episodes, so I think you could binge it all in one day. Or no, is it 10 or 9? I can't remember now. Either way, there's not that many episodes. They're only a half hour long, so I think you could do it all in one day. Easy. Or at least 2 days. So I think, this is going to be one that I think would be better on the binge. But then again, I think I'm glad that it came out week to week. I think that even though binging stuff is just something that we do nowadays, I don't think it should be the norm. I think we should have a little bit of a break between that, just to give us time to breathe. Anyways, I'm trying to think of what else I can say. Okay, slight disappointments. The ending had good stuff about it, but it also had stuff I didn't really like. Like, I love the fact that she finally fully embraces the Scarlet Witch name. I loved how she tricked Agatha by giving her a bunch of her powers, but also throwing those runes up there. I love that. I also think that the way Wanda is just now all powerful is kind of cool. There are some stuff about the finale I didn't like. Like, Monica Rambeau's new powers, not that I don't believe that the Hex could change her. I do believe it could. But I don't really get what they are. Like, obviously she's strong, and then she had bullets shot through her, and then they kind of she turned into a liquid gel. So it would have been interesting if we could actually have discovered more and more of what those powers actually were, and how much of this is something that is going to be needed going forward, because now she's going up to Nick Fury wherever he's at, and now the Scarlet Witch is pulling a Doctor Strange, but not exactly, because Doctor Strange would use his astral form to study stuff while he was sleeping, where the Scarlet Witch was walking around and studying these arcane arts. So, yeah, I don't know what's going on, but that's going to lead into the Doctor Strange movie, and I think that'll be interesting to see. It's going to be interesting because now we got some stuff where TV shows are almost required viewing for the movies, and that's going to be interesting to see how much of that is necessary, you know? Is the next Captain Marvel movie going to have Monica Rambeau, and then she's like, "Hi, I have powers. How'd you get them?" Well, long story short, I was on a TV show. See, it's weird. It doesn't exactly work. But I think that, for the most part, the show does hold up. I would definitely recommend it, especially if you're somebody who likes to think things through and try to uncover things. Stuff like that, I think, really works. I think Monica Rambeau was a little bit too easy on Wanda at the end of it. She's like, "You'll never know what you sacrificed," and I'm like, you held them hostage within their own minds. You know, she shouldn't be like, "Oh, you guys should be thanking me." She should be like, "I'm so sorry for everything that I've done." You know, it should be that sort of thing. They should have been running her out of town, and deservedly so. All these people are going to require so much therapy. I liked when we got the White Vision versus Westview Vision, that it was like a philosophical debate. Like, it started out as a big CGI fight, but then it ended in a philosophical debate. And I don't know what to make of it, because it's like, he's like, "I am Vision," then he flies off. Well, if he really was Vision with all of Vision's memories, why would he fly off when he knows Wanda is in the area? That doesn't make much sense to me. Or why the other Vision didn't tell her about White Vision. Anyways. Yeah. And I don't get why Hayward was arrested. I mean, I guess... No, actually, that makes sense, actually, because Jimmy Woo called his guys from Quantico and told them that he held them hostage without... as well. So, yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I don't know. I'm interested into seeing these next other Disney Plus Marvel shows and all the Star Wars shows they got going on. Oh my gosh, there's so much stuff, and I'm not complaining. I think that these are great. I think it's great, and I'm interested to see what the other shows are going to be like. So yeah, if you're a Marvel person, I definitely think you got to check it out. But then again, this is the spoiler review, so of course you've already checked it out. So put in the comments what you thought of the show, what you thought of it, you know, what your feelings were on it overall. I think for me, best episode has to be the episode that she goes back through all of her trauma that she's experienced over the years. Best moment overall, I guess, has to be the Quicksilver reveal. Even though it was a little bit of a letdown at the end, I think the moment of it had to be like, holy crap, what are they doing? It blew up in such an amazing way. Favorite character from the show? I have to say Wanda, the Scarlet Witch, because just the way her character progressed throughout the show and the trauma that she went through, I really like it. I also really like the kids. I want to bring those guys up because those two boys were actually pretty fun. I like them a lot. Yeah, funniest moment from the show, I think, has to be the old magician trick thing that drunk, because of gum vision, was part of, and wanted to keep having to do real magic to... Anyways, disappointed that wasn't revealed. We didn't ever get a Ralph. Agnes kept on saying, "My husband Ralph," but we never got a Ralph, you know? I don't know. That was at least disappointed. I wish that Ralph was somebody or something. But anyway, actually thinking about it, was the teenager named Ralph? Anyways, yeah. Biggest disappointment that Evan Peters isn't just like the new Quicksilver of the Marvel Universe. I was thinking that they were going to do something where he was like, he revealed that he was the Quicksilver from that universe, from the X-Men universe, and now he was stuck here, but he's like, well, what Agatha did, I got all of your brother's memories and I got all of mine, so I want to be your brother, even though I won't be exactly like him. I just want to take care of you as my sister. Something like that. But I guess for where it's leading into with the Doctor Strange movie, that's probably not the place that they want her mind to be at. Anyways, yeah. So that's everything I have to say. I'm going to give WandaVision a 7 out of 10. It's a good show. I think there's some parts of it that drag a little bit. The intrigue early on was super intriguing. I love the reveal. I love the explanation behind the whole thing. There was a few parts in the finale that kind of fell flat for me. There was a few parts that didn't necessarily add up for me. But overall, I think it was a good show. And I hope Wanda doesn't take it out on me for not being higher on her show. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed watching this review. It was sure swell having you over here. And if you want to subscribe, you can go and do that. If you don't, I don't care. I'm just happy you stopped by. Well, thank you. Bye.
Be sure to check out some of these other videos on my channel. And wait for more coming soon.